everybody ready to go? Yeah. Alright, real good. Yeah, good. Good to go? Yep. Okay. Cyber war means global extinction. The 2AC conceived the terminal impact level of the disadvantage. You have a low threshold for a negative value here because they've conceded an extinction impact. Don't let them come back in the 1 AR because that skews to an understanding with that defensive place. Adversaries will have infrastructure that undermines confidence in global systems and ensures that there's no communication miscalc is the most likely scenario for WD launches unintentional or in retaliation. That means that none of their arguments about why U.S. hegemony creates a stable world order are able to solve because it's not in the context of the way the miscalculation affects crisis management. That's one and two Rothkopf and view the debate the lens of time frame. Point intervening actors solve all their complex growth is a long-term impact. Things like Fed policy decisions are able to solve that. The long-term case of it proves that in short-term impacts turn long-term impacts. If we have separate tactics going to crush long-term economic growth, and infinitely this turns the case, it turns the economy, crippling cyber defense costs, attacks, direct financial system also turns their internal links. The government can't give out visas if it's shut down, and that's their internal link to the immigration federalism advantage. Also, that turns disease because we're not able to give out things like the NIH or the CDC if the government is shut down. Also, these are the link to truly Congress people would have an incentive to pass policies to take on the effectiveness of the abnormal fields on anti-crisis question of dueling policies. Also, the plan text specifies U.S. agency, which means that Congress can so roll back the plan in. Our first argument is a case also dissension on Hall 27A, range of indicators by the U.S. Congress show regarding against me now, and has consumer confidence like right economic growth showed. We must be U.S. economic the global economic growth will whether there's China, a growth question whether the government get hanged between college with the fiscal year with the most but China, the sense of economic and essential, and including in America's economic momentum, and the second argument, the unionist evidence being old as Sierra will pass now, but Obama's key lawmaking freedom flows here and sitting on the list of Republican leaders that go up as to prevent the shutdown of the state and shutdowns unlikely now. Banner's resignation for the newest most inclusive evidence. Logiardo 925. The office of shutdown by the federal government won't within the resignation of the Banner's sacrifice should have voted shutdown the plan and the clean funding election conservative members were running Congress with the government parties. They was support the spending bill. The global government funding without a change to certified for that. By somebody will pass. Obama has leveraged Republicans with the Sergeant 922. The issue that the first government funding by politically charged with the President Democrat Congress and control the energy because ultimately the Republican government by passing money with the Democrats. The usually to be a majority is because of which contrary theory that will pass majority of amputation that everything can cycle on because they said it's utter nonsense and the thumper argument our versus already budgeted. The Thursday really will give I think majority possibility already budget. Republicans think about also their evidence is not conclusive means you default negative on this question because we are the only providing evidence about what the budget will actually be implemented here to not issue person instead of not 22 the President Republicans leadership the first time for British and my certainly one of the British spending much of the engine funding the several of the military for a security job with the citizens and build them allow the legislation before by versus Department of Commonwealth versus the country health measure and the link debate for link to the plans on popular executive orders and immigration enforcement get hold of political paddles specifically over the budget. That's the sheer evidence. Also, link turns case Camacho, 14 supporters, was going to conservative backlash against the Obama section only and these uniform reports and the Republican Party bring one more proposals to Congress. First, the link uniqueness argument is not about the continuing resolution. We just view the debate through the lens of issue-specific uniqueness. Right now, Obama's got the negotiations he needs to get the bill passed. Just a question of whether or not the plan disrupts that. Also, the second argument about it about the link being about immigration reform. The plan is a unilateral decrease in immigration enforcement, which means that's how you should read the politics of the debate. The sheer evidence is incredibly specific on this question, and when Obama issued an executive order to decrease immigration enforcement, that caused backlash, which hurt congressional, that caused a backlash in Congress and intrinsic in this debate. The rejected team registration on constitutional changes so that wasn't made bullets in the round if we drop the voting and here to discourage future boost anti-stop will Ardo. This emergency bill is an opportunity to cross the line because making a political bill when they had to be on us and manage to rely on which national seal office based on moving target and they grab everything manufacturers give me through the social generic strategy that we need have a shot at even if they are for everything specific and not reciprocal. We test our journalist response to the other plan letting usually play them both the system more bias towards them and the next argument about avoiding the shutdown not solving is about the debt ceiling which doesn't take out cyber terror impact because it's not a question of whether or not because the shutdown is specifically key to cyber defense funding. That's one of the evidence also cross-ex and the next are PC's key Obama's key to get a military for negotiation with Republican leadership with other corporations here will fail. That's what I see and the evidence is inclusive doesn't even say the word Obama and Obama's key in America that 1923 Obama announced Republican Congress and not only 500 million will beat the legislation Republican leadership or for professional solutions the way Obama wants to be about they don't do so he will shut down the government and the plan Obama to shut down appears to be our Bush Cordell naturally there's one local government shut down president which was the president whatever shut down with Congress the investigative false notes, watch the land, the annual beacon rules are shown out to both the administration or the current administration. If the outside like no, it doesn't even if it happens immediately, that doesn't show label people. It's like the Chloe more instead of they get to debate it and hoses. Neg graph politician court generic measure of opportunity cost of the plan action and political consequences are received in Congress and the it's like go back to the card. What makes the what watches perfectly above relations when ready to make Congress offer the public will see similar imagery. Yeah.
chilling effect, federalism, the counterplan of this.
How much time do you have left?
3:30.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The chilling effect advantage, the immigration federalism advantage,
Okay.
the state's counterplan, and then chilling federalism and politics. Everyone ready?
Immigration enforcement, surveillance, immigration for person, the economy, officer wise enough, but doesn't matter because if cops are arrested because they don't have the authority to board, which we to deport immigrants to streets, immigrants won't be afraid of them because they can't get deported. Group all their alternative causes. They don't rely on our impact because our impact's about a linear amount of growth versus a linear amount of decline. We increase growth. That's how doesn't actually say that there's alternative causes to the economy. It just says that there's other problems that the U.S. has. It's not actually alternative causes to the economy. We still boost growth. Not to say group all the real estate defense, even if real estate is declining. Immigrants, every immigrant that's in undocumented immigrant that's in the U.S. buying houses with increasing sector greatly because it's a huge population. The more you have to think that drives the entire economy, which is conceded, which means we don't have to win our other tools. Small businesses don't fail 65%, 65% of new jobs, 50% of GDP, and there's no federal government all costs also above and also, sorry, yeah. Also, it doesn't matter. There's no. It doesn't matter about jobs, consumer spending, and founding the small business link is not about jobs. It's about consumer spending. It's about founding small business. Five, 6, 8. Yeah. Of all persons, healthcare link, chilling, fucking immigrants won't get healthcare anyway. And also, the nurse representative, no impact rule. Our impact is not about military growth. It's about coercion and cooperation. Solve global issues. Also consider our the diversity theory packages in the world evidence, and also our large links are not about everyone getting deported to go to immigration files. They're just not high now. DHS forces the data sharing and compliance with licenses is not high now. Also, it's just an authority argument. And even if states have the authority to opt out, the federal government are still coercing them, which still because immigration files, they say no impact hegemony, yes impact hegemony, just assume power vacuum, which leads to a conflict competition over hegemony. These are started in all countries. We solve that and go to the counterplan. One, the counterplan can solve these fragmentation. Following Russ says a state-based solution is the key to solve these. Indicates that must be solved. Our internal links that federal government will never allow state experimentation. Also, our internal link is not just because states want to circumvent and extend knowledge with the executive just create a new program that forces states to comply with the imperial truth. That's how ICE was created the first 7 to link your telling immigration defense as a whole from within the federal agencies can solve immigration problems and force beats someone's federal action. Extend Washington Post Department. The executive will make it impossible for states to opt out of programs to the federal agencies. That means immigrants will still for state surveillance and transition to state-based politics is impossible. Caesar point is fingerprinting. Immigrants will still be fingerprinted in public spaces. What? Oh, wait. No, so. Season 1 fingerprinting. Immigrants will still be fingerprinted in public spaces. That means they can't solve immigration files because our evidence says that DHS fingerprinting is sharing uniquely undermines immigration files. Decent points are deportation, global police surveillance will continue post-combat. That means cancel the chilling effect. Decent point, they also don't have a mechanism by which to resolve international perception. Blue arrest indicates that that's due to policy experimentalism. That means it counts the terminal details in the long term because as they won't be able to have a localized policy experimentalism, which is key to orange links and episode 27 cancel policy experimentalism. Let's see. About stuff now, if you guys have 50 fields voting each day, so when it's solved to distortion, no literature based exists compared to federal actions, station, acting uniform. The distortion education gives a friendly debate around artificial context, not real controversies. Be supporters watching response, no single decision maker can decide between the federal and state action. They should be limited to federal actions with the purview of current judges. These impacts are a way to make sure we're real world controversies. It's the only way to access false education, logical reasoning, all others ground based portable skill that can be translated to action after our conversation. Results are often free based around state action only. If it's through the federal government, that's it. That way there's the comparative literature based on the keeping logical. We turn all their states good off and now. Yeah, sufficient framing. The sufficient framing is stupid. Support solvency. Our solvency efforts are not marginal. They're massive. That's the solvency. But we support there's no linear solvency. Our impacts have a break, which means that's only a question of whether we solve or we don't solve. There's no linear solvency. Now yeah. Next, you definitely don't solve the economy. One is immigration is not our internal link. It's a matter of the immigrants that we already have in the status quo participating in the economy, which means even if they increase in immigration, that doesn't matter. And two is cross-apply the racial profiling inevitable argument. It's inevitable. Absent the plan because only the plan decreases the authority for deportation. That means
means that that even if they give immigrants visas, they still won't participate in the economy, which means that it doesn't even if they give immigrants visas, they still won't participate in the economy, which means they can't start going back to good policy. Framing issue, we still get a whole impact to this side. 2 more takes someone's hostile to the syndicates that go sell cyber conflict because we can coerce other states to cooperate with us to solve a cyber visa. What is hegemony in terrorist conflict? That's on the case load. Not sure. 6 points visas are state-based, which means it doesn't have the government shutdowns. Visa point is it doesn't turn the economy because we still solve our internal growth. And 6 points not, and there's no time. They don't actually have time for the cyber impact, which is to fall firm. Then another actually says attachment and our impacts are short term now. I'm going to extend a couple of resources of thumbers argument. They have to see 3 out of the 4 thumbers in the Maharani, XM Highway, and they ran all trigger governmental shutdown because their fights are going on Congress now that won't be resolved now. That means your shutdowns now. Next thing, I'm going to do the link debate A. So with the no link, once you can see the link is empirically denied because their emphasis is so generic. Political firestorm Obama's PEP program that you recently passed recent action on. I should have already triggered the link and it doesn't solve our front of the basic points references about cross-border immigration, which the front of definitely doesn't change. We're not going for the intrinsic argument, which means that doesn't actually matter, but the link doesn't encourage any turn case because basic point is durable fear and if you have talks to the basic point is not about ice. The last argument I extend is the king argument, which is going to win us around. PC is irrelevant because even if the continuing resolution passes now, new speaker of the House, which is going to be elected by the Republicans, which means whenever the budget bill comes back up, and it's on December 11th, that means your shutdown will just happen on December 11th whenever the vote comes again, because that new speaker of the House will pressure Republicans. That means that it costs them. Shutdown. 350.
Alright, 350, starting press. Counterfront politics.
Immigration funnels.
Capital can see the permutation, assessment, competition. The theory arguments just means reject the argument on the team. The politics debate, they have no terminal impact defense coming out of the 2AC and the 1AR. The smooth feature prefer our impact of cyber war that causes extinction. Without defense in place, adversaries will go after our critical infrastructure systems that undermines confidence in all systems. This is uniquely likely because it causes WMD launches instantly and unintentional or because of retaliation. That's the Rothkopf evidence and extend our you should view the debate through the lens of time frame. They can see the intervening actors can solve their impacts. We can have cooperation post-plan that solves their impacts and means there's no real need for hegemony and short-term impacts turn long-term impacts. Their impacts are definitely the long-term ones because they have to rely on immigrants to solve for clean tech commercialization and solve for the real estate industry, the healthcare industry, and the small business to actually solve the impact in the first place. Our scenario is based off of a quick attack on our critical infrastructure. They've conceded the rollback argument that if the thesis of the link is true, then Congress people would have an incentive to pass policies that take out the effectiveness of the affirmative durable field. It's not an answer because they've specified executive agencies, not that Congress can actually get rid of the executive agencies or overstep on the plan. And we have independent terms case arguments. They've conceded that it turns their internal links. The government can't give out visas if there's a government shutdown, and it turns the economy because complex cyber defense makes the cost of attacks to wreck the financial systems. Also, you can extend the Hall evidence in the case that we solve the case says this has a bigger internal link to solving the case. It says that the shutdown will destroy all economic growth happening right now. That it's essential to the budget it will destroy the economic growth right now. The Thumper debate is next. They've dropped that the Thumper is priced in right now. It's already budgeted. The vote on Thursday proved that they won't get the majority to pass the bill, which has pushed Republicans to give up and extend the Harrison-Horn evidence in the case of Planned Parenthood is not an issue. But there, first, the evidence from the uniqueness wall, you can cross-apply that to the Thumper debate. It indicates that the first piece of evidence from the uniqueness wall. Logirano evidence indicates that the vote will happen on the budget next week. That is the first priority. That is top of the docket. None of their evidence is conclusive and actually says that these will interfere with the plan. And all of the thumpers that he's listed are priced into Obama's political capital. The link debate next. He says that it's empirically denied, but it's not. Our evidence is hyper specific. Indicates that the affirmative links. And link determines direction. Link controls the direction of uniqueness on the Thumper debate. Objectivity uniqueness is probability calculation. Link is the only thing the yes-no portion of the disadvantage changes the world of uniqueness, trades off with political capital. Obama could invest in that pass. No pass is never a definite statement. They eliminate the possibility that the link debate. The plan is definitely unpopular. Sheer evidence is hyper-specific to the plan. It's specific to executive orders on immigration enforcement. That specifically causes political battles that sap political capital and specifically destroys the budget compromise. Extending Camacho evidence in the case of the link turns the case because it empowers the xenophobic forces in the Republican Party, and they say the PDP triggers the link, but that's not about the continuing resolution. It doesn't matter. Their cross-border argument doesn't apply because they have because our scenario is specific to deportation. They have no evidence on the link debate. They see durable field solves with that. That was answered above. Their last argument is that the shutdown will happen on December 11th when there's a new Speaker of the House. That doesn't apply. The Hendraker evidence indicates that Republicans are caving to Obama right now. Obama will bully the new Speaker of the House. That means the shutdown is not inevitable. The immigration federalism advantage. I'll extend the impact defense at the top. He hasn't done analysis here. His only answer to the FedWise evidence was just that there will be power vacuums. But our argument is there have been power vacuums in the past. That's our FedWise evidence said during the 90s, the U.S. cut defense spending substantially. There was no power vacuum. There was no security developments, decreased security balancing. In fact, the world grew more stable when we cut defense spending. The global conflict declined, and their evidence has a flawed causality. There's broad statistical evidence shows that no decrease in military spending actually changes the way countries act. And extend the Basquiat evidence in the case that immigration federalism is high. Right now, their evidence paints a narrative of forced cooperation that doesn't assume that state laws also mandate local enforcement and regulation and restrictions on visas also take out the impact. The chilling effect advantage. I'll extend the defense to the Haas evidence at the top. The Haas evidence is terrible. It actually says that the Haas evidence has a bunch of all positive and it indicates that the status quo solves the. I'll get to that one second. Yeah, it says the House evidence indicates the Silicon Valley technological development, the shale gas boom, as well as U.S. universities ensure the U.S. maintains its leadership in innovation and leadership. The House evidence also indicates that debt, infrastructure, education are all key to domestic powers. These are all reasons they don't solve. They don't solve for race in the post-plan. The officials will cause the immigrants not to participate in the economy. And if we disprove any of their internal links, that's the reason that they should lose. Extend the CEA evidence indicates that Obamacare is sufficient to solve their health care internal link. Extend the regulations destroy small businesses right now. That's the plans they have. It's also weird. A card says there's 10 unique costs to small business disaster. That means collapse to the devil.